Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our backyard. Today I'd like to talk about vertical gardening. And I like to vertical garden because not only does it give me another space to be able to provide flowers, but it also adds a lot of interest and directs the eye to whatever is growing tall. And you can achieve it in quite a few different ways. And what you see here, I have examples of two that are, one that is staked. So my Mandevilla that on the left is staked with bamboo. And on the right, I do have a trellis. And so I'm going to go through my plants, vining plants and flowering plants that do provide vertical interest. So I'm going to get a little closer here. This is a red Mandevilla, and I really like the bright color. I also like what it provides because a lot of different, especially hummingbirds, but a lot of different things see the red as they are flying over. And so it does act as a beacon to my yard, but it also provides this wonderful interest. And the bamboo sticks that I have are 6 feet tall. And the Mandevilla, this Mandevilla is 2 years old. And so this is the second year of growth. And I did protect it. As you see, I do have it in a pot, and I did protect it over the winter because it will not survive freezing temperatures. It is a tropical. The next vine I want to share with you is this beautiful Mexican flame vine. And it is getting ready to flush out in blooms again. So I had a spring flush that was just amazing, and then it said to prune so you get a second flush, and that is what I am seeing. There are buds all over the plant. But what I also wanted to show you is I have this also in a pot, but I have it trellised by a small trellis. And then our trellises, what we have is we have them supported by big, strong cattle guards that go into the ground a long way. And this provides a lot of stability, and especially here where we can get winds, whether it's through tropical storms, etc. And so we do use those big cattle guards for securing our trellises. I hope that if I can continue to deadhead the Mexican flame vine, it will just continue to produce gorgeous flowers. We have set up a 5-panel trellis that we plant our Cardinal Climber from, and we plant it from seed. The thing that we're really surprised at is how it is flowering. Usually we don't get the flowers already this early, and it just grows. So it's putting a lot of energy and effort into flowering also, which isn't bad. I mean, we have hummingbirds here, and so this is a flower that they absolutely prefer. I'm going to get a little closer. So in the back you can see that we do have these very, very thick and cattle guards that we secure our trellises to. And we have 2 for every trellis. Sorry if I'm going too fast here. But the blooms, and I've showed you the blooms in these Cardinal Climber before, but we typically do not get blooms this early. It generally takes 110 days to get blooms from this, and it's only been 60. So this is really different for us, but it has this long tubular bloom, and the butterflies and hummingbirds love this. And as I had mentioned, link in the description, and also up top our Cardinal Climber, what it looks like in the fall during the, well, not late summer, during the hummingbird migration. It is just full and lush and gorgeous, and it's amazing that it is just an annual from seed. Next, I have a trellis of passion vine, and this is a 5-part trellis, and it is purely passion vine. I have one passion vine here on the end that I have staked with a nice large pole and bamboo stakes, and it is in a very tall and large pot. And then I have 2 different kinds. This is Incense, which is a hybrid. It's a hybrid of a native passion vine called Maypop, and another, I forget that, but I will put the other in the description. And then I have a native passion vine that's called a cottonleaf passion vine, and it does have a flower this morning. It's certainly not the prettiest flower, but it is small and kind of a lavender color. But the cottonleaf passion vine grows very vertically, and it will fill in. And then the incense typically goes up and then out and over. So they have a little bit different climbing habits, but this trellis system will be completely filled probably by midsummer. And this is why I have the passion vine, because of the Gulf fritillary. This is one of its caterpillars, and love the Gulf fritillary. They're beautiful orange, delicate butterflies. So on the other end of this trellis system that I have here, this 5-part trellis of passion vine, I do have it bookended. So on each end there is a pot of passion vine also. One of the reasons I do this is because we've had some unusual freezes here in Texas, and we've lost some plants, and I can't get the cottonleaf passion vine readily, and so I want to make sure that I'm able to have to save passion vine over the winter if needed. This is my coral honeysuckle, and I have 3 panels of trellis next to the house, next to the brick. And coral honeysuckle is a native plant from East Texas that also grows very well in the Houston area, which is an attractor to hummingbirds, butterflies, the flowers are, and then the little berries that it produces are attractive to birds. So there's some red berries. Here's some that are look like they're nice and ripe. This flowers profusely in the spring. I'm going to back up a little bit here. So this gets full sun. All of the vines that you've seen so far get full sun. And I have these coral honeysuckle. There's 2 here, 2 vines. I have them in the ground. And then I have these 2 in pots because I have somewhat of a drainage issue on this side. Love the coral honeysuckle. Back in my little south corner here, I have a plant called the Cape honeysuckle, and it isn't truly a honeysuckle and it's not native, but the reason I have it planted is because I really like the bright orange tubular flowers that it's produced, and it will flower in the fall and through the winter as long as it doesn't freeze. And they're bright orange, beautiful flowers. And so I have 2 panels of trellis that this is growing up, and the plant is in the middle and it comes out to here and growing up, and then it's also going to the other end and up. And so when I'm planting vines, I also try to think of the different parts to the year. So I have the coral honeysuckle that is really early, that blooms early. The passion vine will bloom all summer long, and the Cardinal Climber blooms all towards the end of summer, I guess, although it is blooming now. And then this is a vine that flowers in the late fall and winter. One thing I want to share with you is we don't always have to trellis everything in our yard. And so we do love the Cardinal Climber, and we do plant it from seed every year. And I have mentioned this also in a previous video, but we like to plant it in patterns along the fence. And we have this totally all along here. You can see it's blooming on our fence. Huge, many, many, many panels. And I'm going to get a little closer. So what we do along our fence is we have this plastic border that we form into a square. We're going to make it a little bit longer next year, but it's not very tall, but what it does is it provides protection for when we come through and weed whack. So we plant the Cardinal Climber in here, and there's no bottom to it because it's just a border. So it goes, we fill these with our soil, and then it hits our ground, and so they grow. They're just protected with this border. And then what we do is we have eye hooks that we have put into our fence, and then fishing line. And so we create the pattern on the fence, and the Cardinal Climber we train to grow here. And once we train it, it pretty much finds the fishing line. And we have kept some of the vine from last year, so this is dead, but the nice thing about it is it provides just a little bit more for the Cardinal Climber to grab onto. And so we create, actually I should say my husband has created a pattern on the fence, and so this will get also very nice and lush, and you can see it is starting to grow up the fence. And it will be probably in this top half to third, just beautiful and lush. And so this is a very inexpensive way to also garden vertically and have really, really beautiful interest. So thank you for joining me this morning as we talked about gardening vertically for that vertical interest, but also to really maximize space. I'm going to pan over just a little bit more. For my trellis. All right. Very good. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great day.